So if we were all in Wisteria Hall together, I'd ask you to raise your hand if you visited the Arboretum or the Seattle Japanese Garden in the last 12 months. And I dare say that many of you would say yes. I hope you're feeling the energy on grounds and the sense of care and renewal. And the fact that we can say that amidst the pandemic really feels quite marvelous. And I am very grateful to our partners, our donors, our volunteers, and the whole Arboretum community for helping us move toward our higher aspirations. You know, there are many projects that we could talk about tonight. The Foster Island Waterfront Trail work, the completion of the Japanese Garden Pond renovation. Thank you, Japanese Garden Society and Camellia Circle donors. The work along Lake Washington Boulevard. Thank you to the Rhododendron Foundation. But I know that your dinner hour looms. And so I'm just going to pick two cases to just briefly share a small case study on each. The first is our new composting restroom in the south end of the Arboretum near Pacific Connections. It was made possible by a Department of Neighborhoods grant with matching funds from the Foundation's fall appeal. Okay, so why is this important? Well, okay, so obviously it's a needed visitor amenity, and it's a great illustration of a public-private funding model. And it brings part of the Earth Day 2020 platform to life, modeling sustainability. So all in all, one could say that it's a Lulu of a project. That's for Niall Dunn, our communications manager, who tries to put the Lou jokes in all of our ongoing programs. But on a bigger scale, we are so grateful to Mary Ellen and Gordon Mulder for enabling the restoration of Rhododendron Glen. This project speaks deeply to the history of the Arboretum while setting the stage for the future. It checks just about every box. So first, Rhody Glen, as many of you know, is one of the most historic parts of the collection. I actually found in the archives a 1937 document that describes how collectors from all over the country worked to send some of their favorite specimens to the newly created Washington Park Arboretum. Similarly, today, Ray is working with nurseries and collectors to add interesting and endangered specimens to the collection. One of my early favorites in terms of the new plantings is this big leaf Sina Grande, pictured here, which was also, this very plant was part of our 2020 display garden. So it has a new home here in Rhody Glen. Hundreds of replacement plants have already been added in the upper reaches of the Glen, with many, many more to come. But next is the ecological benefits of the project. So as we move into the next phase, which might begin as early as this summer, if we can make it through the final stages of permitting, we'll begin work that will improve the health of the stream corridor as it moves from the upper area and connects all the way with the Azalea Way Pond. Watershed restoration and creating healthy ecosystems for plants and wildlife will be increasingly important to our healthy urban environments in the coming decades. And what we learn from this project is going to impact many of the future efforts, such as the North Entry work that Ray described to you earlier. Finally, as part of this project, and very important, are the opportunities for deepening human interaction and the sense of place. There'll be some pretty cool education components. Ray recently shared that he's ordered 1,000 candelabra primrose from France that will be propagated by our summer campers. Important design elements where students and visitors can get up much closer to the stream are a really integral part of the design. And I'm particularly excited about a new viewpoint that's imagined for just above the Azalea Way Pond that's going to make for a more accessible vantage point right in the heart of the Arboretum, looking down onto Azalea Way. We are super grateful to the individuals and foundations that have joined with the molders in this effort. And we recently learned that this project was selected as the 2021 winner of the prestigious Founders Fund Award from the Garden Club of America. And we really appreciate the partnership with our local Seattle Garden Club in making this happen. With these case studies, I hope that we are conveying our desire to be good stewards of your funds and looking for ways to create leverage by exploring new partnerships, looking for synergy between program and place, renewing the collections, and very much looking for new ways to ensure that we are equitably serving all members of our community. So in the coming year, here's a few things that I'm personally looking forward to. The summer garden party on August 12th that we think will be back in person, featuring the world premiere of music by composer Paul Chihara, the Olmsted 200 celebration, the Imagineering of the North Entry project, and simply seeing and talking with all of you once again. You know, as Alyssa was describing, you know, many things could be adapted last year, but there's nothing quite like the energy of volunteers on grounds, and I am so happy that this is starting to resume. Given that the foundation started as an all-volunteer group, it's only fitting to, once again, as is our custom, to end this program with this year's Volunteer Legacy Award. But you know, I was thinking it might be fun to change the scenery a little bit. So I'm going to move from Pacific Connections to the Japanese garden. So it feels like a fitting setting for the final part of our evening. Okay, the Volunteer Legacy Award. This award is the Arboretum Foundation's highest honor. Our organization was founded by volunteers, and this award is given annually to someone whose volunteer work here has truly made a difference to our community. Our award winner this year has been instrumental in contributing to the long-term vibrancy of the foundation and of the Washington Park Arboretum. A landscape architect by trade and a natural-born tour leader by passion, he has shared his expertise and enthusiasm in countless ways, most recently braving February rains while taping the armchair tour of the Arboretum for our virtual Spring Forward Gala. When challenged to get out of the box by beloved leader John Watt, he took on the question of the Arboretum's sometimes tangled governance and moved us down a path of imagining how to better position this amazing community asset for its second century ahead. While that final outcome is yet to be written, his thoughtful efforts will be catalytic for our work ahead. He's a 3-term board member and has consistently served in leadership roles from the advocacy committee chair to board president. Fellow board members appreciate his vision and his perseverance, and they look forward to viewing the slideshow from his most recent project, a bucket list cross-country road trip visiting 25 different botanic gardens. And with that, I introduce you to this year's Volunteer Legacy Award winner, Jason Morse. Because Jason is probably on an interstate in the Midwest right now, we will deliver his monogrammed foundation apron at a later date, and his name will be included on the plaque that hangs in the lobby of the Visitor Center. Congratulations, Jason, and thank you. You know, from a personal standpoint, I would just like to thank all of you for joining us this evening and hanging in there through our second Zoom virtual annual meeting.